Hello students, welcome to a lesson through the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher, and in this lockdown period, since we are not able to go to school, children, we will be doing many lessons here online through the virtual class. So come on, let's proceed to our lesson for today.
So children, we'll be starting a lesson in standard 10th English, and the lesson is lesson number 2.6, Science and Spirituality. Now children, science and spirituality are two terms that we associate with our lives. Okay, science is something regarding laws and regarding how things happen and regarding how happenings which around happen in our nature, things which happen in our nature, how they affect our lives, about the various components of which earth is formed, and so many other things. When you talk about spirituality is something which you cannot see. Like you can see things in science, you cannot see things as far as spirituality is concerned. It is something which you experience, which you feel. Okay, now this particular lesson, science and spirituality, is based on, or you can say is connected with the experiences of this famous person who was one of the ex-presidents of India, that is APJ Abdul Kalam sir. Now, this lesson is taken from a book by this person called as Srijan Pal Singh, who wrote about his experiences and who wrote about his interactions and what he learned from these interactions with this great person, APJ Abdul Kalam. So this, if you can say, this lesson in your textbook is an excerpt from this book called What Can I Give? Now, when we look at the lesson, you will also see that this was also a project, or it was also a movement which was started by APJ Abdul Kalam sir. Okay, now before we move on to the lesson and we see the contents of the lesson, let us try here to understand what the meaning of science and spirituality is using certain exercises from our textbook. So we always start our lessons with a warming up exercise which is there in the textbook. So here also we will try to match some columns and we will try to understand the meaning of science, the meaning of philosophy, the meaning of some other terms also like religion or theology, which are connected to these two terms, science and spirituality. Alright, so let us move on and see, this is the exercise for today. So this exercise you will find on page number 89 in your textbook. And children, before we start learning or studying any lesson in English, it is always advised that you open your English textbook, come to this particular page and be on the same page with me as far as we are doing the lesson. So you can get a lot of extra information. Now in English, when there are long lessons, children, we do not read the lesson line by line. What we do is I try to explain the gist of these paragraphs which are there in the lesson. Okay, so please keep your textbook open so you will get additional knowledge also. So let us try and match these columns and let us try and figure out what the meaning of all these expressions could be. So like I told you, we have science and we have religion also, and we have spirituality, philosophy, theology. So these are all terms which are in one way or the other connected to each other. Alright, so let us see what is science. Now we're learning about science and spirituality in this particular lesson. So science is the intellectual and practical activities in a systematic study of structure and behavior of the natural world through experiment and observation. So like we discussed in the beginning of the lesson, science is about so many things that you see around you in nature. One of the most important aspects of science is experimentation and observation. Okay, and I told you science is something which we can see and something which we can understand and something which we can visualize also, because we can see the things which are happening in science. All right, Now let's move on to religion. Now there is one more small instruction for you here. I will of course give you the answers because it is not a format where I can wait for you to give me the answer. But you will always pause the video, make it a habit to pause the video when a question is put up, and try to figure out the answers yourself and then check whether your answers match mine. Okay? So what is a religion, children? How will you define or how will you explain the meaning of a religion? It is the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, that is God. So we have different ways of you can say worshipping in God. We have different ways of believing in God depending on the religion that we follow. But all religions move on the basis that there is some superhuman, someone who's not human, okay, who is controlling us and who's making things happen in our life. So that is God. Now, what about spirituality? So, is it the same as religion, or is there something more to spirituality as we are going to look at them? So, see, spirituality is a quality of being more concerned with human spirit as opposed to the material or physical things. So, when you're spiritual, you do not want to gather the material wealth in this world. You are not concerned with how much money you have or how many good clothes you have or what big house you have. When you're spiritual, you are concerned more about the well-being of your soul rather than that of the comforts that your body desires. Okay, so spirituality does not exactly mean following God or following religion. It means looking at things which are better for our spirit rather than better for our body. What about philosophy? So, philosophy is actually a branch of science which deals with the basic nature of knowledge, reality, existence, and it is also taught as an academic subject. You have people who have done their MA in philosophy, etc. So it is nothing but it is trying to understand what knowledge is, what reality is, what existence is, etc. One last point is remaining here. What is theology? Now, theology means the study of nature of God and religious beliefs. So, like I told you, we have different religions who follow different paths which lead to God. So, studying the nature of the different gods which exist and the beliefs of the people, when someone wants to go deep into it and do a comparative study and try to understand the various factors in the various religions that people follow, then that person is supposed to be studying theology. Okay, so this is a broad idea about what these different things may mean. Okay, so here you will understand that everything is important in its own place. So science is also important, religion is also important, spirituality is important, as well as philosophy and theology also. But we should always try to maintain a balance. Okay, so just like we know that it is very important for us to eat food to survive. Food is a basic need. But we know that if you overeat, if you eat too much, it will cause more harm than good. So that is the basic concept of this lesson, that we should try to achieve a balance, strike a balance between the various aspects which are there in our life. Let us go to the next exercise here, where we will try to complete certain quotes. So these are some incomplete quotes. So you're supposed to complete them by choosing the word science, religion, or spiritual, and then you're supposed to make them meaningful. So only if you have understood the meaning of what is science, what is religion, and what is spiritual, then you will be able to complete this. Okay, so like I said previously, try to find out the answers on your own. Otherwise, then I'm going to give you the answers any which ways. So dash without religion is lame. Dash without science is blind. So what without religion is lame? Science without religion is lame. Lame means someone being lame means someone has got a physical disability. Okay, so if there is science, only science, and there is no base for religion there, then it is not of any worth. It is lame. It is not complete. And they are saying that dash without science is blind. So following religion without questioning it at all, without questioning the basic facts which are there in the religion, is also blind. So if it is a science without religion, then it has got a disability, that is, it is lame. And if it is religion without science, again there is a disability, and it is blind. Dash has outrun our dash power. We have guided missiles but misguided man. So what has run our dash power? Science has run our spiritual power. Outrun means science has gone above the spirit. So we are no longer bothered about our spiritual being. We are bothered only about the worldly possessions and about our physical comforts. So we have guided missiles. That is, from India, we can sit and guide a missile to reach any other country in the world. But we have a misguided man. Man means humanity on the whole is misguided today. We are creating so many problems for our own selves. Okay? Next, on a dash journey, we all have the same destination, on a spiritual journey. Because we all want to save our souls, we all want to better our spirits. So it is immaterial which path you are following. So on a spiritual journey, we all have the same destination. We want to become better human beings. Dash is meant to awaken man's love for a source, that is God. So what will awaken your love for your source? What will awaken your love for your creator? God. It is religion. Okay? Dash provides a means of with the creator of heaven and earth in the language of your heart and soul. Religion is a means. It provides a means where you connect with the creator of heaven and earth, that is God. In the language of your heart and soul means in the language which you want to, whether some people say prayers, some people say hymns, some people do different kinds of puja, some people follow various kind of traditions and customs. So that is religion, when you want to connect with your God. Dash is a beautiful gift to humanity. We should not distort it. What is a beautiful gift to humanity? Science, because science along with technology has taken our life from where to where you know today. Okay, in the beginning, if you just go back, you've learned so many things about the beginning of humanity. Human beings were living in caves, almost like animals. But now we know that because of science, our human race has got such a beautiful gift in life. We are doing so well in life. Alright, so we should not distort it. Distort it means we should not use science for the wrong things which are happening in the world today. So this was about children, science and religion and spirituality, and we tried to understand what the meaning of all these concepts are. Now let us move on to our lesson. And let us see what this lesson wants to tell us. This lesson wants to tell us that we should strike a balance in our life as far as science and spirituality is concerned. Okay, now let us see what is there in this lesson, the contents of this lesson. Of course, I will not be able to explain each and every line to you, but we will see the contents of this lesson generally. Okay, so this lesson is there in 3 parts in your textbook if you see. So let us see what is the gist of part 1, and then we will go to what is part 2, and then finally to part 3. So part 1 is about the person whom Srijan Pal Singh actually worships, you can say. He thinks that this person is his guru and he's learned so much from his person and he has molded the life of the author. So APJ Abdul Kalam, he was the 11th President of India, and we have all learned about the life of APJ Abdul Kalam. He had very humble beginnings. Okay, so he was from a very poor family, you can say, where he used to sell newspapers in order to survive on a day-to-day basis. He was a real source of inspiration for people to achieve big in spite of being born in backward areas with humble beginnings. So his father was a fisherman. Okay, but in spite of that, he went on to become the president of this country. So that means he did not have any kind of good start in life. All the credit to what position he has reached in the world goes to his hard work. APJ Abdul Kalam is one of the best example in the world for rags to riches stories. And when we say riches here, it does not mean richness in money, but it means richness of knowledge. Rags to riches means someone who was extremely poor, but someone who went on to become very, very rich materialistically, but in this case, in the field of knowledge. Okay, so this part of the lesson describes the life and the struggles of APJ Abdul Kalam in the beginning of his life. It also tells us about some of his friends, and later on he went on to become the Missile Man of India. He earned the title of the Missile Man of India himself. Now, APJ Abdul Kalam sir was a Muslim by faith, by religion. Okay, we discussed what is religion, and we also discussed that people follow different religions to reach one God. Okay, so he was a Muslim, but in spite of that, some of his best friends, that is, he had a friend who was a Hindu, and his name was Pakshi Lakshmana Shastrigal. He was a head priest at the Rameshwara temple. So he used to always have discussions. You can see here APJ Abdul Kalam sir in discussion with the Vedic scholars, with the Hindu priests. Okay, so for him, talking to a Hindu priest was just a way of assimilating knowledge, of gathering something good from them. Okay, and his other friend, you see, his other friend was a Christian. His name was Reverend Father Bodal. And he was also a person who built the first church on Rameshwara Island. So he, along with Reverend Father Bodal and Pakshi Lakshmana Shastrigal and APJ Abdul Kalam sir, they were the best of friends. And they belonged to 3 different religions. Okay, so you see, religion does not come in the way of friendship. If you have a friend from another religion, that religion is that person's personal faith. It has got nothing to do with your friendship, with your love that you have for that person. Okay, and these 3 people, they used to sit and discuss about the problems in the community where they lived, and they used to try and find solutions also. So they used to go beyond the, you can say, boundaries of culture and religion. Okay, and APJ Abdul Kalam sir felt that this is the need of the hour. People of different religions getting together and having a dialogue and working for the betterment of the society is the need of the hour today. Alright, then he said that based on the same idea, he once said he was asked to light a lamp in a particular function. Lighting a lamp means inaugurating a function. He said, I am a Muslim. I lit a Hindu's lamp using a Christian candle. This should be the unity in our country. So these were the ideas which he felt. He said religion is good. Everyone should follow their own religion, but that following a religion should not become, you can say, an obstacle in bringing people together. Alright, so in the first part of this lesson, you will see a lot of a personal, you can say, you will get a personal glimpse of the life of Abdul Kalam sir. Then in part 2, you will see, part 2 and part 3, you will see how he contributed to the society in general. So, in the year 1960, Abdul Kalam sir joined ISRO. And when he joined ISRO, it was just starting up. Okay, it was just limping to existence. It was not full-fledged like it is today. ISRO is the Indian Space Research Organization. He interacted with very famous persons in those times, like for example, the great scientist Vikram Sarabhai, and also there was a priest who came into the picture. Now, why did they interact? Because you all must be knowing that there is this particular place in Kerala called Thumba, where we have a space research facility. So see, this is the place where there is a space research facility in our country today. Okay, but the existence of this place, how this place came into existence, is a long story. So in part 2 we will talk a little bit about that particular story. So if you look at this particular picture, you will see there are three things on this page. There is a church, and there is some kind of a house or a settlement, and then there is this rocket flying out. Okay, so when this government officials decided that there should be a particular facility, research facility in here, there was a very big problem here. What the problem was? The problem was that there was a church, okay, and there was a fishing ground here. That is, fishermen used to stay here. They used to go fishing there, and they had their own houses and huts over there. Along with that, there was also the church of St. Mary Magdalene here, like we saw in the previous picture. So the place where they wanted to make or build this facility was already occupied. And along with this, there was also the bishop's house. Now, bishop is a religious leader of the Christians, or you can say a priest of a more higher order. Okay, so there was a bishop's house also, and a school also. And because of all this, you know how difficult it is to move these people and make something else. But somehow they said that no, this is the right spot in order to make this facility. And tomorrow, if this facility comes up, who will benefit from it? The general public of India will benefit from it. So there was something religious about this matter. So Vikram Sarabhai sir and Abdul Kalam sir, they went on to meet the priest of that particular, you can say, church. So this is Vikram Sarabhai here. We call him as the father of the Indian space program. He, along with Abdul Kalam sir, they went to meet Reverend Peter Bernard Pereira. He was a religious person, of course, and he had a lot of love for the church, and he had a lot of love for the religious sentiments of the people. When you say that you have to move a church from here, the church will no longer be there, the sentiments of the people get hurt, isn't it? Reverend Peter Bernard Pereira, he understood all this. He knew how it is going to affect the people over there. But he was convinced that this particular, you can say, step in science will eventually affect or provide for the betterment of the humanity. So what did he do? One day in church, he addressed the people of his church. He gave them a small speech where he introduced them to Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, and he told them what the work of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai was and what he intends to do. And he also pointed out that he is able to talk to so many of them because of the microphone or the mic. And he also said that whenever there are advancements in science and technology, it affects everyone. Okay, it gives us improved medical facilities, and it helps us to make our life more comfortable, and also it helps us to improve the quality of life. Then he told them the real reason why Dr. Vikram Sarabhai was there. He said that they want the land in order to build the research facility. So he called upon them and he asked them whether you can give up your homes for this. Alright, he also said that we will also have to give up God's home, that is a church, but that will be for a better good. As soon as he said this, he waited for the reaction of the people, and the people also reacted in a very positive manner. The whole church reverberated with the deafening noise of a collective amen. That is, they agreed. Alright, the people of the church understood that whatever is happening today will improve our lives, improve the lives of our children for tomorrow. So this is one part, that is one experience which APJ Abdul Kalam sir had as far as religion and science was concerned. Now let us talk about the third part, which talks about APJ Abdul Kalam sir's interaction with Professor Satish Dhawan. He was also the director of ISRO, under whom Kalam sir made various attempts to launch the satellites. Okay, now here you will see let us talk a little bit about this person, Professor Satish Dhawan. He is regarded as the father of experimental fluid dynamics. So this is something related to science which I do not understand very well, but something which was very important in the field of science. Okay, and he was also the chairman, or you can say he was also the director of ISRO, and he succeeded Vikram Sarabhai. That is, after Vikram Sarabhai's tenure, he was the person who took over ISRO. And because of his efforts, now we know about all this. We know about the INSAT, that is the Indian satellite. We know about the Indian remote sensing satellite. Okay, we know about the Polar satellite launch vehicle. All these things we have heard, isn't it? So he was the person who was responsible for all these systems. So here also there was a lot of influence of Professor Satish Dhawan in the life of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, he said that we can remove impurities which are there in our soul by living pure and ethical lives and by serving humanity. So service to humanity was something which Dr. Satish Dhawan taught Dr. Abdul Kalam. Alright, so this was about the interaction. There were many important things which came up in their discussions always, and he learned a lot of things from Dr. Satish Dhawan. There was also one more incident which happened in his life, and one more personality which influenced him, and that person was Dr. Sri Shivakumar Mahaswami ji. So in the year 2009, Dr. Kalam was invited for the 102nd birthday of this person, His Holiness Dr. Sri Shivakumara Mahaswami ji, in a place in Karnataka. Now he was 112 years old. He had completed 102 years of age. Sorry, not 12, 2. You can see that today people who are 50 and 60, they have so many problems. They cannot walk, they cannot sit. Okay, they are always sick. They want help from others. They cannot do things on their own. But imagine a person who's 102 years old. He stood on his feet without any support. He addressed the audience. There was an ashram where they were very small young children. He addressed them, and after the event of his birthday also, he went on to feed all those children. Okay, imagine standing up on your own feet without any support and speaking, giving a speech. All right, he was a person who was very energetic even at this particular age. So APJ Abdul Kalam sir was very puzzled. Okay, he interacted with him. He saw all the activities that this person is doing at this particular age. See, I told you, he addressed the young children there, the young people there, and also he fed them, and at this age he did not get tired also. So he started wondering what must be the reason for this. How could he do this? At this age, how could he possess so much of strength? Then he started wondering whether it is because of his diet, or whether it is because of his healthy lifestyle, or perhaps it could be because of his genetics also. But then he later on realized that the essence of a happy life and peaceful society lies only in one sentence. So if you want to live a happy life, and you want a society also around you to be peaceful, after all his interactions with that person, Sri Shivakumara Mahaswami ji, he understood that there is only one thing which can make you happy, and that is, what can I give? So if you think about what you can give to society, what you can give to someone else, only then you will be happy yourself also, and you will create a society around you which is also happy. So Abdul Kalam sir learned from this person that we have to replace this attitude of what I can take with the goodness of what I can give in order to make the society a better place. Okay, so these are all the things which in a way Srijanpal Singh learned from his interactions with Abdul Kalam sir, and Abdul Kalam sir learned this in his interactions with various others in his life. Alright. Then I told you also in the beginning that he started a movement called What I Can Give for India. Abdul Kalam sir started this movement in the year 2012. What I can give for my country, what can I do for this country? He started this particular movement also, and it became a reality, and it became hugely popular also. And with this movement, using this movement, Dr. Kalam tried to combat means fight, corruption, environmental degradation, and the various social evils. Okay, so now come on, we have talked about the entire lesson. We saw what is science, we saw what is spirituality. So let us now conclude this lesson by doing the first exercise in your English workshop part. So the remaining part we will do it in the next video. So let us now see whether we are able to associate these words. Let us now see whether we understand what is science and what is spirituality after doing all this explanation and trying to understand the meaning of the individual concepts. So science and faith here can work for the betterment of humanity. Faith means in a way religion. Okay, so it is not necessary that you should sit at home and talk about God and worship God, but if you combine it with science, it can lead to a better life for the human beings. Only science, if you talk about, solves questions, discovers the truth, and conceives inventions. Creates inventions, isn't it? There are so many things that science has created. How can you create a better planet? A better planet can be created by fact and faith. So both the things will go hand in hand. There should be a balance between fact, that is science, and faith, that is religion. What about the creations and discoveries? So they are the successes of societies. Okay, when society creates and discovers so many different things, it leads to better life of the people in society. What about conflict? Conflict can sometimes arise if there is no balance between science and religion. So there are some people who are believers only of science, some people who are believers only of religion. When there is no balanced thing there, then sometimes there can be conflict in the society. Now children, we have done a major part of the contents of this lesson, and like we always do, when we meet next time, we will do the exercises which are there in the next part of this lesson. So that is all for today. So wait for the next video.
So children, wasn't that a wonderful video? And did you enjoy watching it? So if you want to watch more such videos in future, then please like this video and also subscribe to our channel, the MCGM Portal for Education, and also hit the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video here. Thank you so much for now. Let's meet again soon.